to share it. So, in the New York State high school curriculum for life sciences, there's several disciplinary core ideas. And one of them says, although DNA replication is tightly regulated and remarkably accurate, errors do occur and result in mutations, which are also a source of genetic variation. So it sounds like from what we've been talking about, this is one of the core pieces of what von Neumann predicted. This is really the only way to evolve complexity is through mutations that give you some kind of viability. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Is there sort of a threshold level of did von Neumann think about this? Like how many mistakes are allowed so that you don't get too many that are disastrous, but you get enough that are useful?
So that's a great question. Actually, that's a topic that I study in my lab. So I just taught in my course at Columbia. So let me first maybe tell you a little bit about how the errors occur, because
Great.
that relates to their frequency.
Great.
So back to Pac-Man. Pac-Man has a G in its mouth, and normally the C comes in, as I told you, and Pac-Man closes its mouth, and life is good. But if the wrong nucleotide comes in, then the G pairs with the T to create a irregular structure, and the structure is such that Pac-Man cannot close its mouth completely. It kind of partially closes because the food is sticking out of its mouth in a way, and so it can't really close all the way. And at that point, it decides, oh, I'm going to open my mouth again. And then it goes back and partially closes and opens and partially closes. And at some point, the wrong T will just fall off. It will just fall off, and great, the mistake hasn't happened, because DNA polymerases make a mistake roughly around 1 in 100,000 errors per nucleotide copied. And you can ask, how are they so good at this? And the answer is they have this what's called induced fit mechanism, where basically the wrong nucleotide, when it binds to Pac-Man, it forces it to form this wrong structure, this partially ajar structure, which is incapable of catalyzing the chemical reaction that leads to the incorporation of the nucleotide, but instead it's a trap, so that it kind of doesn't do anything, and then it goes back and opens, and then finally it releases the nucleotides. But we know, so that sounds great, but this is a perfect system now. How do errors ever occur?